Welcome. This is Lynn Albro, your internet marketing coach, and over the past several months I've been doing a habit a month, and this is habit number 8, and this is about how to monitor your online statistics, how to know what is working and what needs work. We're going to cover where to find social networking statistics, how to set up website statistics, what is Klout and why it is important, how to document statistics, and how to determine what type of content is engaging. And once you determine what type of content is engaging, then you need to plan to use that type of content more often. Where do you find social media statistics? We're going to actually go into each one of these programs here. For website analytics, you go to Google Analytics or Jetpack for WordPress are the two I use. There are several more. Google Analytics is free, and so is Jetpack for WordPress, and both of them have something really good to offer. We're going to talk about social influence analytics. I use Klout primarily. I'm signed up for Peer Index. I don't get as much benefit out of Peer Index, but I just wanted to include it because it's also available. And we're going to talk about social networking analytics, and I'm going to go into Facebook Pages Insights. There's a website called allmyplus.com for Google+. I also have some information, some statistics at Hootsuite. And then I use goo.gl for shortening my links, and I have statistics there that I pay attention to. And also we'll go into my email marketing program, and I'll show you some statistics there. In Google Analytics, you can see the number of visitors you've had to your website, the number of page views that they've looked at, how much time they spent on your site, new visitors versus returning visitors, what the bounce rate was. Bounce rate is when they come to your website and then bounce off in about 5 seconds. Decide that's not where they wanted to be. The traffic sources, how they get there, and the content that they view once they're there. So let's go ahead and go to Google Analytics, and I just need to sign in. And then I'm going to choose the website that we're going to do the most talking about. And if you just click on all website data, you can see a graph that shows how many visitors you've had a day. And then here's where you see the number of visits you've had in the past month, how many page views, the average duration they've been on the site, which is 1.54 minutes, the percentage of new visits to returning visits. There's also a graph over here, a circle graph. The number of unique visitors, those are visitors that they only count one time. And the number of pages that they visit, which is 1.67. And my bounce rate's a bit high, and I'm not real proud of it, so I'm working on keeping people there at my website just a little bit longer. That's another training all by itself. If you want to see a little bit about the traffic sources, where they're coming from, you just click on it, and you can see that 240 of those 414 visitors came through Google Organic. In other words, they used the Google search term and they came through Google. 82 of them came direct, probably by just typing in lynnalbro.com. Facebook, 29 of them came, 27 of them came through my emails, which is also good information to know. And I got 8 of them coming to my site from Google+. I think that number is going to increase exponentially as I'm working on that site trying to build it up. You can actually see the pages that they've landed on, how many landed on brand character statement, how many landed on thank you page, how many landed on internet marketing tips. Interesting to know where they landed because you can kind of get an idea of what type of keywords they use to get there. Most of the people landed on my home page, 131 page views on my home page. Okay, back to the presentation, and we have now gone over all the different things in Google Analytics. If you want to add Google Analytics to your website, just shoot me an email and I'll give you directions on how to do that. You need a Gmail account or a Google account, and I highly recommend you have one anyway, even if you just use it to dump all of your social networking activities into. I'm also using Jetpack for WordPress, and there's some maybe easier to understand statistics at Jetpack for WordPress. So let's take a look at that. And I'll go into my WordPress site here. And this is the back end of my WordPress.com site. Any of you that are using WordPress will know it well. If you have a WordPress.com website, there's usually the statistics are sitting over here. If you have a WordPress.org site, they are down here. And this looks pretty plain here, but when you click on the View All button, here's where it gets interesting. You can see which days of the week were more active than other days. You can also compare those days to the days that you post blog articles. If you click on Summaries and then click on 30 days, you can see where all your traffic has come in from in the last 30 days. 153 from search engines, 21 from my email marketing, 13 from Facebook, 9 from Google+, which pretty much mirrors what we saw on Google Analytics. Also, I got a couple through Twitter. And surprisingly so, this is the only place I know that documents how many come in through Pinterest. Okay, we go back to the stats, and we can see that if we go to top posts and pages, and then let's click on 30 days, we can see which of my posts had the most views. The home page got 65. Determine what sets you apart from the competition, 18 views. Write out a detailed description of a target market, 15 views. Market with impact on Google+, 13 views. And normally what I would do would be start writing all this information down on a sheet of paper, at least the top 5, top 3 in everything. And then at the end of this webinar, we're going to talk about how to use that information that you've grabbed from the different places. And that is the search engine terms. This is the keywords that people are using to find my content, which I think is really interesting. Target market description, what sets you apart from your competition, and how to publish landing pages. All kinds of information here on keywords, so you can see which keywords are working. Forward, what is Klout and why would you care? Why should you even care about what Klout is? Well, Klout is more like a social influence grading system. A high Klout score indicates that you have built a following on social media, and you've actually several different social media sites. And if you're a professional in a specific field, you should have a Klout score of at least 50%. If you have a Twitter account, you already have a Klout score. And this is where it becomes important. Decision makers, whether they're deciding to do business with you or whether they're deciding to hire you, often use Klout to see how active you are on the social networks. And they don't go into Facebook and Twitter. They use Klout to go find out what your score is. So let's move forward. Klout has some analytics, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at those. There it is, Klout. And as you can see, here is my 90-day score, and it's gone up. And I would say that most of the reason it's gone up is because I started using and started developing Google+. You can, over on the left-hand side, open up the down arrow here and see how many followers we have from Twitter, how many retweets in the last 90 days, how many mentions, and how many lists in the that you belong to at Twitter. And Twitter people add other Twitter people to lists, and apparently I'm in 90+ lists. I haven't really paid that close of attention to it, but it's always interesting. You can see some information on your Facebook page, and mine is 365 internet marketing tips, or it's Internet Marketing Coach 365, and I've got over 1,000 fans. In fact, I have close to 2,000, and we'll go into that in a little bit. In the last 90 days, 30+ people have shared, 40+ people have commented, and 10+ people have mentioned. In Google+, it says I have over 100+ ones. I have 10+ reshares and 50+ comments. Actually, I think in the past few days that's even actually bumped up. And Klout goes around every night and goes and picks up this information from all of these different networks that you belong to, and then scores you based on that information. At LinkedIn, I have over 500 connections. I think I actually have close to 1,000. 7+ likes and 6 recommendations. And LinkedIn, if you haven't done it, LinkedIn is a great place to get recommendations. Instagram, I am absolutely new on, so I'm just going to show you. I think I have 40+ followers. I opened it just a couple weeks ago. I have just 5 photographs up, and I've got 8 likes, and so far nobody's commented on my Instagram. Moving forward, they have a new feature here at Klout. It's called Insights, and it's in the beta testing, and I thought it was pretty interesting, so I wanted to share it. This is my fans and followers. 22% of them have a score in the low 10s or in the 10s, a Klout score in the 10s. 16% have a Klout score of in the 40s, and 26.83 have a Klout score of in the 50s. So a lot of people that I am engaging with have Klout scores similar to mine. 16% in the 60s, 7.32% in the 70s, and believe it or not, somebody actually pays attention to me with a Klout score of 80 in the 80s. One thing I think is interesting, but I'm not really sure how to use it, is the topics that my influencers care about. And I'm not sure. I suppose if I was trying to attract my influencers, then I would start posting about these specific topics. Network recommendations. The first recommendation is that 39% of the 60s interaction happens in or at Facebook. But that is the national, or that is the average overall of all Klout users. However, 80% of my brand, the people that I interact with, looks like interact at Google+. I've noticed something different at Google+ that I didn't ever notice at Facebook, and that is that there are people more likely to interact with you at Google+ than they are at Facebook. And that, as a brand, that's important to me. So I'm basically going to leave this alone. I do a lot of interacting at Facebook. I do about the same amount of interacting at Google+, but I get a better response at Google+. And then recommendation number 2, 37% of the people with a Klout score in the 50s happen on Facebook, and then, but with my brand, it's 69.23% of the engagements in the people in the 60s. The Klout score of 50s, Klout score of 50s. I'm engaging more of them at Google Plus than I am at Facebook. And recommendation number 3, we're talking about Klout scores in the 70s. 42% of people with 70s Klout scores. That's like a tongue twister. Excuse me, I keep tripping over it. 42% of people with Klout scores in the 70s their influence happens on Facebook. However, I'm still more with Google Plus. I'm getting a better result with Google Plus. And then they show you a couple moments, and I don't have a great deal of moments because I tweet in Twitter every day, but I don't spend a lot of time at Twitter. So I've got 2 recent interactions on Twitter where they mentioned me when they use the about sign and put your name in. That's a mention. In the 60s I've got a couple, and in the 70s I've got a couple more. So those are tweets that have happened that have my name in them. Back to our presentation. So now we've gone over all the different things that you can use for your effect on people in social networking. We just went through Klout, and I think it's a very good tool. For monitoring your online statistics, I recommend not only Google Analytics and Klout, but also Facebook page stats, allmyplus.com for G+, Hootsuite statistics, goo.gl, which is a link shortener, and email marketing statistics. So let's take a look at that. First of all, let's go to all my stats for Google Plus, and if we scroll down, we can see that I would say in the last week and a half I've made a really big effort at Google Plus. So you can see my chart over here. My interactions are getting higher. So there's some information there. There is a graph here that shows the days where my postings are getting comments, and I can add more to it, but it certainly makes the graph just a little bit smaller. Say I wanted to add reshares to it. What happens is the graph just gets a little bit smaller, so I kind of took it out earlier. And then my posting behavior per hour, and here's the hours, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way to 21, which I believe would be, that would be about 9 o'clock at night, because yes, I am on the internet at 9 o'clock at night. 12 and 9, yeah, that's 9 o'clock at night. Okay, and then here it talks about my most popular posts. Number of comments, the most comments, the number of reshares, and the most plus ones. So this is all interesting information. It shows me where people are interacting with me, and I think that's important to know. At Facebook, if you go into your page that you set up, and my page is 365 Internet Marketing Tips, if you click on See All Insights, it gives you an overview, but if you click on See All Insights, and then click on Page, and we've got page likes here, and you can see as of today I have 1930 page likes. Going back to July 8th, I had 1930 page likes. And what's happened over the course of the month is that I've added likes and lost likes, and it stayed relatively the same. And I'm not advertising at this point. When I advertise, it goes up exponentially. We can look at what I think is important is number one, reach. And I think if you click on this, it will give you, put them in order. Yes, it did. Okay, so the biggest reach I've had was 308 individuals, and it was this post right here. And I think that's important. I also got some pretty good engagement. So knowing what works, and that's what I was talking about, knowing what works. And if you'll look at this, mostly what works for me, like what gets the most engagement at Facebook, is quotations. And so I do a quotation every day. And this one is important because it shows you when your fans are online, which days of the week your fans are online. But more importantly, it shows you the times that they're online. And it starts at about 8 a.m. and it goes through to about 8 p.m. So you have about a 12-hour window, actually 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. You have about a 13-hour window, with 7 p.m. looking like the largest most people are online, which is interesting because I've always read that it was 6 p.m. and 6 p.m. is good, 2 p.m. is better, but 7 p.m. is the best. More people are viewing Facebook at 7 o'clock, so that's important to know. Okay, onward to Hootsuite. I use Hootsuite to post everything except Google+. Now in my Google+ pages, I can actually use Hootsuite. You can see them down here. But I do a lot of work for Century 21, so a lot of the pages that I promote are C21MMs. And but there are a few of mine stuck in here, and they're all across the top here. So I wanted to set up some analytics based on the information that Hootsuite gathers. So if we go in my reports, we can see a Twitter profile overview, which I think is good. I'm following 6,828 people, and 6,806 people are following me back. There's been no growth in the last couple weeks, which I didn't expect because I haven't spent any time growing it. And then I think this is probably the most important thing, is in the last couple weeks, here are the most popular posts. And remember, I told you what we need to be doing is making lists or making notes on the most popular posts. And I got 8 clicks. I also have a Facebook page on diabetes, and I got 10 clicks on it. I got 8 clicks on how to develop the habits of successful people, and this I am sharing other people's content. And again, you want to write down the top 5, and those are the ones you want to focus on when it comes to sharing content on the internet. Back to my report list, we'll take a look at the second one, my Facebook page overview, which is 365 internet marketing links, and we were looking at that a few minutes ago. My total weekly reach is 919 people. I got 5 new likes, but I also got 5 new unlikes over the last couple weeks. And the daily post feedbacks, 4 likes, 2 likes, 2 shares, and I can see which day they are. I could cross-reference that with the shares. So it doesn't give you a lot of information, but it gives you good information. This is how you document your online statistics. And if you can see here, I've started with Google Analytics. I've got the visits, the number of visits for June and July. You can see they went up. You can see the page views, and you can see again they went up. You can see the duration on the site, so I'm doing something right because all of this stuff seems to be increasing, except my bounce rate also increased, which was not a good thing. Facebook referrals is at 25. Organic traffic is up to 226. But more important, I found that the brand character statement, these are the 3 top content pages that people landed on. Here's my Klout score. I added that, and then here's my Facebook stats. I could do a whole lot more if all I kept track of was the top 5 things from each of those sites that people were clicking on or paying attention to. That would be the best thing I could do. I just wanted to give you an idea of how to do this. This is a very simple spreadsheet. I put in the different things I was visiting each month and the months. And if you just wanted to move it down to weeks, you could do that once a week. So how do you determine what works? You need to pay attention to what posts people are engaging in. And I've showed you throughout this webinar what posts people are engaging in. You need to pay attention to what articles people read at your website. And I showed you how you could go to your website and pay attention to that. You need to pay attention to what keywords people are using to find you. Keywords are important because if more people are using one specific keyword to find you and you want more people to find you, then you need to write more articles and posts using those keywords. What social networking sites are working for me? As I showed you, it appears that the best one for me right now is Google+. What days of the week work best for me? Usually Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I always find that a lot more interaction happens on the weekends. And what times of the day? As I just showed you at Facebook, it looks like 7 p.m. is the best time of day. So I could schedule my posts, all my posts, or what I wanted to get out there the most at 7 p.m. I actually do post about 5 times a day. The first post in the morning at 9 o'clock is a quotation. The second post at noon is a link to other people's content. The third post is a link to one of my blogs. The fourth post is a status where I just talk about things that interest me. Sometimes it's about my cat, sometimes it's about an office that I've been in. So it's just really a status report. And the fifth post is, again, I'm linking to relevant content that is relevant to my target market. And then once you have paid attention and you've got a pretty good idea of what people are responding to you that you're putting out, then you need to organize your marketing efforts around those statistics. And I'm certainly going to go back, and instead of putting up a post at 6 p.m., I'm going to start putting my posts up at 7 p.m. The takeaways, the things I want you to learn from this presentation: number 1, access your Klout account today and add networks if you haven't done it. If you've got a Twitter account, you've got a Klout account. If you don't, then open up Klout, set up an account, and add the networks that you have. It's not difficult, but you need to the more networks you add to your Klout account, the more likely your Klout percentage is to go up. Number 2, add analytics to your website. And like I said earlier, there are several ways to do that. I'm using Google Analytics and Jetpack for WordPress, and each one of them gives me a little bit different view. And then finally, monitor and document your online statistics. You need to, in order to know what is working, it's much easier to see it in a written form, whether that's a spreadsheet or just some notes you took as you were going through those different sites. You need to know what is working and when it is working. Again, that should be in your notes. And then you need to create more content and present it along those lines.